Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh. It's got a lot of torque. Wow, that is way better than I expected. 0 to 100 in seconds. Honest to God. That is a lot faster than I expected. Hey guys, there's no sugarcoating this one. Honda sold 144 of these last year. To be fair, it was the 10th generation. This is the 11th generation of the Honda Accord, but that means they sold 12 a month. That's really not very much. However, Honda says that doesn't really matter. They just want to offer their flagship passenger vehicle in Australia. This thing has been selling in Australia now since like the 1970s. That's a long time ago. And unlike the NSX and Legend, this thing still lives on. It has gone up by about $3,000 to the outgoing top of the range Honda Accord, which accounted for 1% of the medium sedan market, I believe. So it will set you back about $64,990 drive away, which is certainly not cheap. Its closest competitor in Australia is the Hyundai Sonata N-Line, which we have reviewed, and I'll link that review down below. And even though that is $3,500 less, what this gets over that is Honda's hybrid system, which is frankly one of the most mind-blowingly good hybrid systems I have come across. Now, this thing has been on sale in the US for quite some time, about a year and a half, but it does actually differ. Actually, proportionally, it's the same. It's 70 millimeters longer than before. It has the same drivetrain underneath with 2 electric motors, but only one is connected to the front wheels. We'll come back to that when we drive it. But it's the interior which has received quite a massive tech update, and I think it's a bit of a downgrade, but again, we'll come back to that. So today we're going to take this thing for a full review. Going to check out its new exterior styling, check out the practicality, and of course the interior and some of the poopy tech I think they have just implemented for no reason. Then of course we will launch this thing, see just how quick it is from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, and honestly it blew me away, so it'll probably blow you away too. And we're going to give it lots of sauce, see just how this thing drives, especially compared to before. I honestly thought they didn't even sell this car anymore, because I have not seen one on the road in that long. But I will end on my final thoughts, and should you buck the trend, should you be one of the 12 or perhaps even 13 plus that go out and buy a Honda Accord, is it a hidden gem? Let's talk about that. Alrighty, let's talk about the way that this thing looks, because frankly, I think that they have done a bang up job. It looks pretty gorgeous to me. I love these simple daytime running lights that are also sequential indicators, very premium. You have LED lights there too. You of course have your RS badge there and a Honda badge with blue around it, because apparently blue is the color of electricity, baby. They've really simplified the lineup. This is the RS, and that's actually all you can get. RS is generally the sportiest trim you can get for a Honda Civic, and top of the range, at least here in Australia. So yes, RS is the only one you can get. And also gone is that 1.5 litre turbo petrol, but really it's the 2 litre hybrid that you really want. Of course, you have a nice blacked out grille. This comes in 4 colors now. They've really cut that down, and they're all essentially shades of white. There's white, grey, and black, which is a shame. But anyway, of course, being the RS, the sporty one, you have some black trim there too. But again, I think it's a really handsome looking car. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Just gonna make sure I stay in frame here. I wish Jacob was here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, what you think of the looks. Really like it. Let's check out the side. You obviously do not have to be a wizard, Harry, to see that this thing is long, and it's longer than before. It is riding on an updated version of Honda's global architecture, but apparently most of the underpinnings are kind of the same. Think of this as like a CRV that's slammed, a lot shorter. It's essentially the platform that's underneath it. It is 4,975 millimeters long, 2,830 millimeters long between the wheels, which is a decently long wheelbase for a combustion engine vehicle. And it weighs just under 1,600 kilograms. So that's actually quite light for such a big and opulent and luxury car, as you'll see on the inside. Check out these wheels though, they're only 18 inches. Well done, Honda. That means that we get nice fat Michelin tires, good tire choice as well. They're primacy tires, but that should help with ride quality. Again, very, very long. You have a 360 camera there. It's a bit on the poo end, which is just so surprising to me. 2024 could be better, especially for a brand new car. Blacked out mirror caps here. You've got some blacked out stuff there. Keyless entry. and go. I like that. No tinted privacy glass, but I guess you don't need it when you have a window shade, which you definitely can't see me behind. And of course it is very, you know, swoopy, coopy-ish. I actually really like the look of it, guys, even though it is just f***ing enormous. It looks great. And it's not that hard to park, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let's check out the bum. Alrighty, let's talk about the little, well, sexy tushy on this thing. Look at it. Looks awesome. I really like it. Got these LED, not full light bars, but mostly full light bar here with a very cool lip spoiler there. Probably does nothing, but it's aesthetic, baby. You have the RSE HEV badge. Of course, the only trim you can get. The Honda badge there. Accord spelt out proudly. Down the bottom is just a bumper. It's simple. It's simple. It's elegant. I really, really like it. I also really like this. So if we take a look inside of its guts, you can see all my shit's in there. You can see that there is an enormous amount of space. Seriously, this has to be class leading. So with the rear seats up, Honda claimed 570 litres of boot space, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is a lot. You also get a little bit of underfloor storage, which is good. The silly thing though, really quite silly, is that the back seats, they fold as one. So you can't have someone sitting in there and then drop one of those seats. You're just gonna splatter everyone in the back seats. You do have one of the smallest little pass-throughs I have seen, so you might be able to get one chuck of wood through there. Good luck getting anything else. What the freak, Honda? That's not great. But otherwise, it's a lot of space, so you probably won't even need it. Let's check out the interior. Alrighty guys, let's talk about the interior now. And there are a few different things for this right-hand drive spec. Some call it the JDM spec versus the American spec. I have to talk about the one that I'm honestly most disappointed by, despite being the biggest change and apparently better, according to Honda anyway. This is called the Honda Experience Dial. Sounds great. Oh, that's tactile feedback. I'm rubbing my head here because it's taken away what were just normal air conditioning controls, which worked so well. And in place is this thing where you can customize its clock to be analog or digital, or it can move in like 5 different ways. Great, very cool. It's actually quite hard to explain because I'm not truly sure of what it does. What it does is it has like quick select things. So for example, you can have auto air conditioning or colder auto air conditioning, which locks the air conditioning at 23 degrees because apparently that's colder. It's essentially a quick select for the air conditioning controls. Now that they're gone, you still have physical buttons here for your temperature, and I love the way that it adjusts the ambient lighting in here. One of the biggest things that does my head in is that when you rotate it clockwise, the screen moves anti-clockwise. So there is a complete disconnect between what you're clicking on and how the screen is. It's just so confusing. The other thing is, I can't seem to figure out how to set profile settings. So I've got one here, and here it sets a temperature, changes the radio, but I can't seem to change that. I don't know if that's a me problem, I don't know if that's a car problem, but I have sat here for a solid hour trying to figure this out, and what that tells me is that the user experience is pretty bad. If I can't figure it out, a lot of people are not gonna figure it out. If there is something to figure out, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I just think why change something that's not broken, right? It's cool, but it's so unnecessary. That aside, it's actually a really nice place to be. So soft touch materials, absolutely everywhere. It's a lot of faux leather, but it's like that Honda plush faux leather, which does feel very, very good indeed. Technology is such a step up versus before. So now you get this Android automotive display here. It's essentially a 120 Hertz tablet. Like, it's just so good. Easy to use. Everything's logical. You can use Google Assistant if you want to. It's got built-in Google Maps. And one big thing that Honda have done is they have gone with Telstra as their provider. Why that is so important is, as you might know if you live outside of a metropolitan city, Optus and Vodafone networks just suck. They suck so bad. So in a lot of cases, people who buy these connected cars, which have over-the-air updates, can't even get those because there's no internet available in their area. But with Telstra, you're pretty much covered no matter where you are. Fantastic. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and that works really well, by the way, with this wireless charging pad, and you get 2 USB-C fast chargers, which is fantastic. Up in front of you is a digital instrument cluster. I'm not going to say it's the best thing out there, but it looks pretty good. It does show plenty of information on it as well, including a full-size maps if you are using the built-in Google Maps. Fantastic. Up in front of you is an even bigger heads-up display. At least they claim it's bigger, and it is really bright, color accurate, and it shows plenty of information, and you can get that augmented reality stuff, again, if you use the built-in Google Maps, which a lot of people will, because let's be honest, Google Maps and Waze are pretty much the best ways to navigate around. around. I love the metal grating here for your aircon dials. It all just feels just really premium, tactile feeling. Even down to the steering wheel, it just is a nice unit to hold onto. You can control your adaptive cruise control settings there. In terms of practicality, it's also pretty good. So a couple of big cup holders, though I will say a little coffee cup in there will just get delidded pretty easily. You have a smallish glove box, but that's okay. You have another little storage area to the right. Got pretty massive door bins, which is good to see. The center armrest is nice and soft. Pull that open and there's plenty of storage space in there with a 12-volt socket wocky. These leather seats, they feel really, really nice. They are very supportive as well. You can adjust them in pretty much any way, and that is for the driver and the passenger too. So great to see. Bose sound system is one of the best I have heard in any car in this segment. Just so good. Really sounds great. You've also got a big panoramic sunroof, which is always good to see. I will say the shifter is weirdly massive. Don't know why that is. Drive mode selector there, and you can run this car in e-power only, so as an electric car only, but you don't really ever need to press that because it will essentially run itself in electric mode most of the time. It is a very impressive hybrid system, but we'll come back to that when we drive it. So yes, apart from this new experience screen here, which I just think is a waste of space, it's an amazing place to be. Is it better than a Hyundai Sonata? Well, I'll leave that up to you. Let me know in the comments section. Here's them side by side. Alrighty, let's check out the back seats. Okay, let's talk about the back seats now. So I'm 5'11". I've got so much legroom. Toe room as well is fantastic. Headroom is okay. It's not the best, but I fit here. If you're much taller than me, you might actually whack your head against the roof. Still, it feels very nice. You have a couple of air vents, a couple more USB-C fast chargers. You've also got some nice map pockets. Quality doesn't really take a hit here in the back. It all feels like that nice plush faux leather that you get up front. You also get this sunshades, which is good to see. No automatic rear sunshade like you'll find in a Hyundai Sonata, but it's okay. The seats back here, again, are really plush and nice. In fact, they actually re-engineered the seats across the car from the previous generation to make them more comfortable, and you can really tell. The leather on them is just so nice. You've also got this pull down armrest that's nice and soft with a couple of cup holders. Again, the world's smallest ski pass-through. So strange. Let me know what you guys think though. Did they do enough in here to justify the price? I don't know where I sit on that, honestly. But something more objective is how fast is it? So let's test it 0 to 100. Alrighty, mummies and daddies, it's time to launch. The Honda, I was about to say Jazz. This is about the complete opposite. The Honda Accord. All right. We're gonna put the car into, sport mode. Let's give it some VTEC sauce. We have our specialist timing gear. Here we go. Oh, yeah, oh. It's got a lot of torque. Wow, that is way better than I expected. 0 to 100 is 7.13 seconds. Excuse me, sir, where did you come from? That's unreal. It's a lot, honestly. Like, honest to God. That is a lot faster than I expected. All right, let's drive this thing normally. Alrighty, guys. Now, before we drive it, let's take a look at the fuel economy because I'll be honest with you, that's literally the best thing about this car's drivetrain anyway. 4.6 liters per 100 kilometers, and that is mostly highway driving today. Real. Around town, you're actually going to be getting closer to like 4.1, even sub 4. 3.9 is what I have been seeing. So this thing is extremely efficient. But here at CarSauce, us daddies, we don't really care about that. So let's just drive this thing. Ooh, EV only, EV only. Nice and gentle. Sport mode. Oh, VTEC. Kick in. Oh, enough nonsense though. Let's go back to normal and I want to see my little drivetrain moving around. Oh, there you go. So powering this thing is technically the same, but also updated powertrain. First of all, they've deleted the 1.5 litre turbo petrol. So RIP to that, but that really wasn't the powertrain you wanted. And so interestingly, this thing not only has its 2 litre, naturally aspirated, Atkinson cycle engine, it's actually got 2 electric motors, but only one drives the wheels. In fact, the other one is used exclusively to charge the battery. Excuse me here while we put the car into sport mode, give this thing lots of sauce, change the new regenerative braking to full. It's essentially one pedal driving now. That fake engine noise. Oh yes. Oh, look, it's a little bit slow. So the engine outputs 108 kilowatt of power and 182 newton meters of torque. You also get that electric motor, which puts out 135 kilowatt of power, 335 newton meters of torque, which means that you get a total system output of 152 kilowatt of power, which is down 6 kilowatt to before, and like 325 newton meters of torque, which is up a little bit. To be honest though, do you notice it? No. Are the 12 people a month who bought this thing gonna notice it? No. But I'm still absolutely shocked by how often this thing just wants to stay in electric only mode. You can see it there. And the fuel economy blows my mind. But what about steering and suspension? Well, what better place to test that than Thorthy Corner? Oh. Here we go. Ooh. Good amount of torque, a lot of engine sound thanks to that CVT. All right, hairpin number 1, steering becomes really quite heavy. That is so good. What the f? That is not expected. Ladies and gents, that is not expected. What? That went off there way too good. Okay, very impressed. So this thing does get independent suspension all around. And even though it is technically longer, the wheelbase stays the same and therefore it handles amazingly well, weirdly amazingly well. But I have to say, like, overall, it's kind of unremarkable. There's nothing that, you know, jumps out to you and you think, wow, this thing just does it so well. It just does everything okay, you know, except for fuel economy. It does that amazingly, and apparently handling too. But I don't think unremarkable is necessarily a bad thing, especially in this class, because, you know, if we take it out of its noisy, raucous engine mode, i.e. sport mode, put it back into normal. In fact, let's go eco. It is just a really sedate, quiet drive. The sound isolation in here is incredible. You just don't know it. The engine, it's gutless, if I'm being totally honest, but it's fine, you know, for its intended purpose, which is commuting, it is totally fine, or even longer grand touring. It's hard to say that this feels like a $10,000 better experience than a top-of-the-range current gen Camry. I'll be totally honest with you, but it certainly feels very competent. And if you're a Honda lover, I think you're gonna really, really enjoy the way that this thing drives. It's a pleasure. It's just unremarkable. I should also mention, it doesn't have any annoying, intrusive safety systems. It does a fine job. It's not the best at hooking you up in the center of the lane, but it does an okay job. So overall, unremarkable, but it's okay. But I'm curious, guys, what do you think? Would you take this driving experience over a Toyota Camry? Don't know if I would. Let's get into our final thoughts. Alrighty, guys. Final thoughts on the new Honda Accord, the 11th generation. Should you buy one? Well, you might expect me to say, no, it's really not that good, but actually I think it definitely serves its niche. Let's be honest, it's a Honda, and Hondas are known for their reliability. I think if you're going to buy one of these and you're planning on holding onto it for like the next 10 years, you're gonna love this thing. It is so easy to drive, easy to live with. It's unremarkable in terms of how it drives, but it does feel pretty luxurious on the interior. You couldn't really compare it with the Toyota Camry because it just does the job better. Me personally, the Hyundai Sonata N-Line is just more fun. I think it achieves very similar fuel economy for highway driving, but around town, nothing like that. And if you want to learn more about that, again, I'll link that video down below. That'd probably be my choice, but just don't write off the Honda Accord. You probably want to test drive it first. It's surprisingly good. Let me know what you guys think though down in the comment section. Would you buy one? Have you seen one on the roads? Because again, I haven't. I just have not. Okay, ciao for now.